Okay, so now for the sound effect. So you have your scene over here. First thing is there's going to be this nice music that starts in, it's going to be this one. And it's going to play all the way down till you get here, and then it's going to keep playing till you're out of the level in a loop. That's very important. So for this sound over here, I just went inside and I make sure to put it into looping right here like you see. Now let's continue. So inside our program, this is what we have so far. So if you're wondering where I am, I'm inside the level blueprint. And this is what we built in the last part. And I just put some gap where I'm going to add sound. It sounds like a lot of stuff we're adding over here, but it's just a sound effect. It's mostly sound effects. So the first thing is going to be the BGM that we're going to update, which is this one over here. We're just going to drag this inside. I already did it over here. I'm just copying what you see on top. And we're going to control grab this and just come and put this here. Then we're updating the BGM, which is again here something optional. You don't need this part if you're just doing this from scratch. You can just copy this and in. And the reason I want to do a fade in is you see it right here. When I press play, it starts very loud. There's no fade in naturally inside, so you can do that in Unreal, which is very nice. So let's do that over here. So set up the fade in. The BGM is only if you've been following my episodes, that you're going to need to update this variable over here that we created together. Now the other thing you're going to need to do if you've been following my episode, which I'm just going to go to quickly with this, you should have a timer that's on top over here that's not going away. And the easiest way to get it to go away is when you added it to the scene, when all the alarm goes up and the timer is set, make sure to, from the return value of the created, just to make it into a variable. That way you can grab it later in your program, which is right over here, by control grabbing it here and then remove from parent. Remove from parents means that it's going to be removed from the screen, because that's what it's been hooked on to. So I'm not going to put that now because we're not going to have in our case the timer. So let's carry on. Over here we have another sound that's going to be played. It's going to be the platform 2D sound. So let's go ahead and see what this one sounds like. It's I think I put it somewhere else. Yeah, it's here. Moving platform. So you have the starting, and then there's a little background sound that plays just for the time being. So you're going to put that here. Again, I'm going to leave that in the description below. Then we have the elevator, that the lift that goes down. We wait for the 5 second, and then when this is done, we're going to add the breaker sound to make sure. And I put the pitch to be lower since it's a big platform, just to make that fake stop. And then you move on, continuing. The elevator comes to pick you up. The door opens, and then I have myself saying destiny awaits, which is just a 2D sound. It's just play 2D sound 2D, and you have it here. And then you can just choose the sound you want to put there. And you're done for the first part. You can delete this for me. And now let's move on. What I added after that, so now we're down here. Okay, let's put that away. We're down here. The elevator is open and the door is there. So you need to add a trigger volume right over here. Like I did, I just went, grab a trigger volume, put it here. And make sure you're inside the right level, like always. And by having it selected, we're going to go back inside our level. And I made this little event to check if the player overlaps it, what's going to happen. Now, here's the little kicker. You need to make sure to have a check first for the first person character. So let's create it now, and I'm going to tell you why after. First person character. Cast to first person character, get player character. And then from here, you don't need to make it into a variable for this time. So drag out of the other actor over here and make equal. And you want it to check if it's equal to the character. Now the reason we're doing this is because the way the trigger volume works is it generates overlap events. So that means anything that overlaps it can generate the event. In our case, we have a fully collisioned elevator that's going to go up, and that's going to touch the box beforehand. and you don't want it to fire your end scene while the player is not inside right away. So when the elevator is going to overlap, it's going to see that it's not the character, and it's going to play the false, which in our case is going to be nothing. And then from the true, so when the character finally goes there, then you can carry out your program. So from there, I put a little delay just to let the character time to get inside the elevator. And then from here, we're going to grab our elevator scene, which is right over here. We have the elevator scene, so that means the elevator was called up, and then the door over here would open, this one over here. So now we don't have to make a new matinee sequence. All we have to do is grab the same scene right over here, Control C, Control delete this, Control V, so just copy it and then reverse it, because the scene is already played out, so you can just reverse it and it's going to do the same matinee sequence but in reverse, and it's going to work. And then you need your elevator, so we're going to go grab our elevator over here, Control C, same thing here, Control V. Now carry out the closed door event that we already made together, and we're almost done. Now we have to make we're going to add a sound, so close this, add a sound. So now we have another sound that we're going to add, which is the reason that I made this variable inside the elevator over here. The reason I made this little elevator arriving sound is that so we can modify it via inside the level. So let's go grab our sound, which is this one over here, and back to our program. It's hard to work on one screen sometimes. Hard to show you guys everything I want to show you. So I just dragged it here. Make sure it's an audio component, since that's what you want to play with right now. And we're going to grab the elevator again. So from here you can just drag this out there, RER. I already have. Now I'm going to set, so not copy this, I'm going to do a set arriving sound effect like this. Connect the two together and just play it. I just copy this, but you could just drag out of the execution and press play. Now the delay is going to be for our next session. Now we need to add the fade out. So I had an episode how to make a simple UMG, so a user interface animation. Let's make a new one very fast. Call it simple fade. In my case, it's going to be 2, since I already have one. Press enter. Double click inside, and very simple we're going to do over here. All we need is a border. Just drag this in. From here, select the border, drag it across the screen, go like this. Make sure to go inside the brush, make it to black, and the alpha to 0, because at first you don't want it to you don't want it to be black right away. And from the animation, add one. We're going to call it fade in, because you're fading into black. And from here, all you need is to click on the alpha over here, make another node at 1, and you're going to put this to 1. So if you play this, now playing it in reverse, it's going to fade in. Now all you need to do is grab this over here, control drag it in, and play the animation. And we are done. Now all you need to do is call it to the screen, and you're done your program. So let's go ahead and do that. So here we're going to create widget, and get your simple fade, which is this one, and just add it to viewport. Now everything should work with sound. How does that sound? Alright, so let's go here and see. So I start next to the lift. I go to the lift. Music starts. The lift brings you down. The elevator comes up to pick you up.
Destiny away.
And then when you reach inside, the elevator goes down and you're done. So hope you enjoyed this. Like always, guys, like and subscribe if you like what you see. And the next episode, we start season 3. So we're going to do the project setup first, just to make sure that we're on the right page of what you need to start the season 3. And after that, we're going to start building our season 3 asset. So have a good day.